welcome to Racing in Queensland, and I'm your host Jesse McDonald, and what a big preview we've got coming up with the Magic Millions Carnival. And joining me is from Centrebet, Neil Evans, and welcome Neil.
Jess, how are you?
I'm very well.
Looking forward to the big day?
I'm very excited about it.
Yes, so I'm glad to be here. Look, it's going to be a great meeting, a good depth in the 2-year-olds. The 3-year-olds are pretty open, but some of the support races, Jess, very strong as well. Plenty of visitors, and I found my way to the track. I didn't take the wrong turn and go into the sales because I haven't got enough money. There you go.
Well, maybe, hopefully after Saturday you might
that might help, yes.
We can sneak over there and purchase one on Saturday night.
Indeed, yes.
Now we're going to preview the 2-year-old Classic. It's a strong field. What are the markets saying at the moment?
Look, it is a strong field, Jess, and dominated by the horses that are well on the radar, as we know. The big money's come for Sizzling. Drawn around about the 6 mark, should get a nice park in the race. Dry Fontaine, of course, who won last start and basically bullied its way to the top of favouritism. Got as short as $3 after drawing an inside gate. Punters decided that was a little bit too short, even though the filly probably deserved to be on top. $4 Sizzling, that's been rampant. They've backed it heavily, gone into $3.90 now, probably will start shorter.
Why do you think the money's come for it?
Look, I just like the way it's going to position in the race. Dry Fontaine, a natural runner's got speed, drawn in, will go towards the front, and Sizzling, of course, had to make the long run from back of the field last start. The stable's always been confident, and I know that for a fact, and this is grand final day. Won't let Dry Fontaine get too far out of her reach from gate 6. Can be off the fence in a striking position, and probably looks to get Amorino's tail. Amorino's drawn wider. It'll come up and probably sit outside Dry Fontaine, and surely Sizzling gets its crack in the straight. Well,
one thing about Dry Fontaine, she's bomb-proof. She'll jump. She'll be there, and you know, with Gay Waterhouse's conditioning, she knows what it takes to win a Magic Millions, and it's going to be the one to beat, I reckon. She
does know what it takes, and this horse, of course, keeps improving. We saw it when it won on debut, and obviously the improvement's been there each time, so you've got to think it's at the top of its game well. But I just think with the heat going on in the Millions, the gloves come off pretty early for a 1,200 metre race. I think Sizzling, with luck, can just be 1 or 2 lengths off Dry Fontaine, and here come the footsteps, look out.
Here they come.
Yes.
Now the other race. So, before we go, let's just get into some big bets. There's been some big bets on Sizzling.
Sizzling, yeah, easily the best backed. As I say, the $4 into $3.90, probably shorter. The most recent $5,000 at the $4, but plenty. There was a bet late on Wednesday of $3,500, another one at $2,500, and plenty of your $300, $500 up to $1,000 punter. So at one stage, still with a lot more money to come in. You know, probably holding 60 or 70% of the book. So, but you know, as it gets shorter and Dry Fontaine comes out, maybe they meet at about 5-2 perhaps, and then you might see some big money for Gay's filly, but certainly Sizzling, that's where all the big bets are at the moment.
Right on, moving on, the 3-year-old Classic. It's not the strongest 3-year-old race seen. Safusa, the favourite, looks to be very hard to beat. It's the in-form horse, Happy Hussy up from Sydney and Subarek.
Yeah, you're right. Sydney looks really to dominate this one. Safusa, its last start was its best. It careered away to win, and a reasonable Wyong race. And I know the stable are keen. Plenty of good punters have got it at a bigger price. It's around about the $3.80 on Centrebet at the moment. Sabark's the big one to watch. It should have won last start. It blew the start at Rose Hill. Couldn't get a run in the straight after all that behind Cinder Rock and Rella. And I think the $8.50. Around that sort of mark is very good value. You mentioned Happy Hussy, form's good, very good for this sort of race, and you're a little bit excited about $6.50. Is that
I'm excited. I'm going to plonk it. I think it's had 3 starts at the 1,400 for 2 wins, and not many of these horses have won over 1,400. And you know, I like horses that have won over 1,400, especially at this age. Larry Cassidy has mentioned the 1,400 here is an easy 1,400. It's not a tough one. So, but I think Happy Hussy's the one from the David Payne stable. Corey Brown on board. It's got the Group 1 trainer, the Group 1 jockey. 650's looking good. Look,
it's fabulously placed, no question at all. They're one to look out for here, and there they're $6.50 Happy Hussy. There's not too many more in single figures, so it's pretty wide after that. A couple to look out for. Easy Running. Out of that race at Punch on one from memory. Now, Easy Running, it'll get a little bit, it's better ridden a little bit back. It raced up forward, hit the front, was swamped in the last 100 metres. It's $13 down to $8.50. It's been well spec'd, it's got a good draw, and I'm expecting this horse just to park with some little cover in behind. Look out for Easy Running in the straight. And as I say, if you like one, Punch On's at $8.50 as well. So there's a couple there, good form. Lucky Mourner, another one, $10 down to $9, all coming out of that same race. But look, I'm with you. I think the big big guns from Sydney will fight it out, but I'm starting to lean back to Subark. I think $8.50 for a horse that's ready to win is great value.
It is certainly good value, $8.50, and should be hard to beat.
Will be, yep.
Another thing with those 3-year-olds, though, those Brisbane 3-year-olds, they're running against each other week in, week out. You could run their race four or five times and have 4 or 5 different winners.
That's right. They tend to finish in a blanket a little bit, but they'll be fit and they like the weather up here, and they'll be hitting the line. So they probably need some luck to beat these Sydney horses that have the class edge. But certainly for all those Quinella trifecta first 4 players, you have to include plenty of them.
And one thing over time being up here for so long, you do find on days like this that the local horses, local trainers, local jockeys, they have that advantage.
Look, they do. They know how to ride the track. So much is said every time we come to the Gold Coast about jockeys. They know where to get into the right spot. They know when to hit the button. And, you know, let's not kid ourselves. You need some luck around here when the pressure's on. Traffic problems can get in the road. We can kick and scream from the wrong side of the fence. But it is a factor. It is a factor. And it's a factor also we try to, you know, maybe cuddle a couple of horses because of that reason in the market and hold them a little bit tighter than maybe what the form suggests they should be. So it's a good point, yes.
Well, straight after the commercial, we'll review the next 2 races of the quaddie.
So early, feels so bright. I didn't get much sleep last night. A freight train rattled through my head. Whistle blowing, loving is dead. Is dead. Heart attack by fear and doubt. Won't belong till the truth comes out. First impressions never last.
This morning we're here with Ryan Wiggins, top Brisbane jockey. How do you think you fared in the Dash for Cash, Ryan?
Not real good actually. I was going good early and then got down the end there and had a bit of trouble with me steering mechanism, but got back onto it all right, and he was a bit quick down the straight, so maybe I made a bit of time on it down the straight.
Yeah, you certainly got running down the last 100 metres, but do you think jockeys struggle with steering them when they get away from a running rail?
Yeah, probably a little bit.
Going in and out of market certainly isn't for us jockeys.
No.
Well, I must tell you, your time was 44.7, but as you say, you hit a couple of cones, and you get a 4 second time fault, so 48.7, not a bad time. Certainly not the quickest, but certainly not the slowest.
That's
well
right.
done.
Thank you.
I feel up, I'm ready to get down. I feel good, oh, I'm ready to be bad. Turning the world inside out, I'm ready to play. I feel right, so right that I might be wrong.
Experience the Brisbane Racing Club, Eagle Farm and Doomben 48 times a year. It's a carnival every Saturday.
Welcome to the start of the 2012 BMW Magic Millions Classic for 2-year-olds. This is where it all begins. Round the start, 5 minutes before the race. Horses have paraded in the enclosure and then gathered round here. It's probably going to be a very warm day, a massive crowd over in the stands. Remember, people, these horses are only babies. They're 2-year-olds. They'll be pumped. The adrenaline is pumping. The jockey's adrenaline is pumping. We're racing for $2 million, more than 1.1 for first prize. Very important when you get round here that you get your mount relaxed to conserve energy. You'll know what horse you want to follow and where you want to be in the race prior, because you would have done your form. Very important when you leave the gates that you get a nice clean start. We're now at the 900 metre mark. Travelled approximately 300 metres. This is where you join up with the course proper and the rail starts to turn. Very important that you've got in and got your position from here. If you've drawn wide, you must get in and get some cover and get as close to the fence as possible. Horses that have drawn the inside, like Dreyfontaine, they're not doing as much work as horses that have drawn out wide. And also, this is a point where there's a lot of interference because you've got horses that are crossing from wide and horses from the inside punching up to hold their spot. And this is where it comes to a big bottleneck. There's usually a long line of jockeys in the steward's room after the last race. We're now at the 600 metre mark. Half the race is gone. Horses that are in a great position will be just sitting patiently, biding their time, waiting until they get into the straight to make their move. Horses that have had a harder run or haven't had the best of positions, this is where jockeys will start to make a move to put themselves in the race. Now what this does, this puts extra pressure on the leaders and horses that are on the inside to make a move early. But if you're in a nice spot, you must be patient. Sit and wait. We're now at the 400 metre mark. This is where things really get intense. Horses that had started making their run from the 600 metre mark have put massive amount of pressure on the horses that are racing near the lead, which then forces their hand to start to come out. There's a little bit of a straight here before we actually straighten at about the 300 metre mark. If you get too wide early, you get pushed right off the track as you straighten. As we get to this stage, you'll find horses will be racing 4, 5 abreast. Then when we actually straighten, they'll be 6, 7, 8 abreast. Things really heat up there. We're in the home straight. We've got 350 metres to run. If you've been one of those lucky enough to have a nice cosy run, this is where you want to start looking to get an out. You want a nice clean run to the winning post and you don't have to change ground. You can see the winning post and you can nearly smell the money. We're now at the 200 metre mark. This is the business end of the race. Jockeys start pulling the whip. Whips are cracking. The crowd is absolutely roaring. You can hear it in the background. It's just a blur though to the jockeys because all they can see is the winning post. Well, this is what it's all about. It's all about the winning post. It's the race to get to the winning post first. If you've got here first, you are now the winner of the $2 million Magic Million 2-year-old Classic.
And joining me is our regular 3-time Sydney Premiership winning jockey and Brisbane Premiership winning jockey, Larry Cassidy. Welcome, Larry.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Great to have you on, and great to have a look at the 1200 metre start like we did on the track there, taking us through furlong by furlong. If you're drawing wide, you're in trouble, and if you're drawing pretty much inside 6, you stand a fairly good chance of winning.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a massive advantage to draw the inside there because you can get your spot and you're obviously saving energy.
Now, let's get cracking and have a look at this 2-year-old Classic race. We're just going to brief through the top half dozen, and the first one is Amarina from the Gerald Ryan stable, by Snitzel out of Steal My Love, who's by marauding a $70,000 purchase and got brother Jimmy on board.
Yeah, that's right, and yeah, he's been racing in good form in Sydney, and if he carries that form up here, he's got to be one of the chances and give Jimmy yet another Magic Millions.
Next horse we're looking at is number 3, Sizzling from the Kelso Wood stable, Chris Muntz on board. $260,000 purchase, again by Snitzel. Looks to be, it's going to be very competitive. Yeah, look, he was very impressive winner of his first start, and then had horror barriers in his next 2, and obviously suffered defeat behind Nagura Burr and then Dreyfontaine, who was the favourite for this race. He comes into barrier 6 today for Saturday, and that's going to give him a much better chance because I think he can put himself a little bit closer instead of getting back from those wide draws. So again, he's got a very big chance. Looking good there for the multiples. A first, number 4, Trevino, over from New Zealand. Interesting. See how he measures up. Yeah, well, that's right. It's interesting that New Zealand, Australia obviously takes some 2-year-olds to race over there, and the Australian 2-year-old form is obviously a lot stronger than New Zealand. But you know, he's winner of his last 3 starts. And he gets his chance to meet a very strong field here Saturday.
but he's certainly got the visitors car park in 17.
Yeah, he'll be out. He'll be certainly out in the car park, and not a cheap buy there at 130,000. Now the favourite for the race, number 8, Drafontaine, a $75,000 purchase, which is rather cheap considering it's by Fastnet Rock.
Yeah, like, wouldn't it be great to know you could have probably brought it for 76,000 if you'd thrown your hand up and have the favourite going in the Magic Millions. Yeah, look, she's a lovely filly and absolute natural, I think. She bounces, puts herself on the bunny, and has a strong kick at the end, and you know, from the strong Waterhouse stable.
And Gay certainly knows what it takes to win a Magic Millions.
Oh, most definitely.
There, and now number 9, Hossamore, bought for 100,000 by General Nadim. General Nadim gets quite a few. He's got quite a few runners, and he's been very successful. Trainer John O'Shea, Brenton Avdulla.
Yeah, well, interesting. She won the Magic Millions at Wyong at her very first start, so obviously they had a good opinion of her, and you know, she certainly confirmed that by beating a reasonable field there. Coming into this race, which is a very high pressure race at her second start, very difficult.
Yeah, and the form line's not the best, I don't think.
No, because Little Critter finished behind
Lady Colours
behind it, and then it got beaten in what looked to be a fairly easy field last Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, definitely the form line's not that strong. Now number 10, Snipsu, was early favourite for this race. His form line's slightly slipped, but he's still a chance to win an $80,000 purchase by Snippertson. How do you rate him?
Yeah, look, she, as I say, she was one of the early favourites, and showed, you know, that she beat the fillies in Brisbane very easily.
Yeah.
And then suffered a couple of defeats from wider draws, and you know, maybe she's not quite going as good, but again, was one of the early favourites and still could pop up.
Liam Birchley, he's a great trainer, and he'll know what to freshen up. Now the other one we're looking at is the most expensive purchase in the race, number 14, No Looking Back, from the Gay Waterhouse stable. 1 start, 1 win, again lightly raced like Hossamore by Redout's Choice, out of a Magic Millions mare winner in Mirror Mirror, who's bide their hair. It's got to be a chance.
Yeah, look, she's bred to win the race.
She is. Oh, definitely.
And you know, impressive first up winner. And you know, like Gay's got a great hand in the race with both the horses drawing perfectly too. So again, she's got to be right in it.
And with Nash on board, he's going to get every inch out of her.
Oh, for sure.
Now, just after the commercial, we're going to come back and preview the 3-year-old classic over the 1400.
There's no better feeling than backing a winner. But is there anything more frustrating than finding out you could have won more by betting with a different tab or bookmaker? The good news is that you can bet across multiple tabs and bookmakers and always take the best available price with theoddsbroker.com. Theoddsbroker.com allows punters to bet with all the tabs and a range of leading bookmakers that are integrated into the oddsbroker.com website. And all you need is one single account with theoddsbroker.com. Join now and receive a massive 20% bonus on your first deposit with theoddsbroker.com.
And welcome back, and Larry, we're looking now at the 3-year-old classic. Not the strongest 3-year-old classic race I've seen. No,
definitely not. In previous years, there's usually been 1 or 2, you know, very well performed horses. I think this is a very even field, and you'd probably run it 2 or 3 times and get a different winner. You would. Now, just briefly, we'll look at them. Number 1, Biggles. Yeah, look, he's a Queensland horse and been running around against the Queensland 3-year-olds. His form's very good. Yep. He won on protest at Eagle Farm. Yep. And was always probably going to win that day. Probably a little bit disappointing last start, got beat three lengths, but all the 3-year-olds that are going around in Queensland, they seem to be taking turns at the moment. They do. $160,000 purchase he was by the Glen Logan sire in Jet Spur. Number 3, Noisy Ocean, ridden by Craig Williams, who could win on a broomstick at the moment. Seems to be one of the most informed jockeys around the country, if not the world. If not the world, exactly, Jess. Well, Noisy Ocean, I possibly would have been on him if I'd have been riding, because I've had quite a bit of luck with him and Brian Guy, and his 2 first up runs were way below par, but then showed good improvement with a good second behind Punch On, and Biggles finished behind him. A $15,000 purchase and won $296,000. Not too bad. He's been a great money spinner. Easy running, barrier 4,
from the Desley Forster stable. A rough chance?
Yeah, definitely
Drawn
a rough
well?
chance. Again, he was a horse that beat Biggles and then lost it on protest.
Tell me about it, I'd put my money on him.
He got beat a short distance behind Punch On last start. But the big plus here is Damien Brown from an inside gate. Damien rides the coast very well, and if you got any rain, which I doubt that we will because the track's in perfect order, he is a very good horse on a rain-affected track.
Now, number 7 Collector here, just to give you an idea about it, it was only purchased for $7,500 and it's won $120,000. So it just goes to show you don't have to spend $1 million to win $1 million.
Plenty of bargains out there, Jess.
Plenty of bargains. So let's get yourself into racing and get involved. It's a great industry to be a part of. Now, number 8, Safusa. This looks to be the one to beat, drawn the 2. Jay Ford, David Pfeiffer, he's won the race before. Yeah,
David, he certainly knows how to get him ready on this day, and the previous 2 years he's won a race each time, and Safusa certainly looks one of the ones to beat after its impressive win at Wyong in the Magic Millions 3-year-old race.
You know, lightly raced 3-year-old with only 6 starts for 3 wins, a second and a third. You know, it hasn't won over the distance.
No, it hasn't raced over the 1400. Looks impressive over 1200. 1400 is another step up again.
How do you rate the 1400 here at the coast?
Look,
in terms of difficulty?
Well, it's not a hard 1400. You know, like you can get an easy time mid-race, so it's not exactly a hard 1400, unlike a 1400 at Eagle Farm or Randwick, to say that.
Now, number 9 Sabark from the Wallace stable, Nash on board, drawn 7. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's got a good chance, an improving sort of horse, and how do you go past the Chris Wallace stable, Little Own Nash?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and again, a query, the distance, 3 starts for only a third. 1400 could be its troubled distance. You know, it only came third behind Galar over there, down there at Rose Hill. Yeah, it could be tricky. Could find the 1400, could be fine.
Yeah, possibly, but as I say, it's not a strong race, and I think the Southerners have certainly got a good chance.
Now, the other one, the Southerner here from the David Payne stable with Corey Brown on board, has drawn the 13, Happy Hussy.
Yeah, impressive winner last start. Got back sort of behind the leaders and burst through to claim the race, which looked a soft win in the end. And yeah, Corey Brown, he's riding in great form, and the David Payne stable's going well, so this horse got a very good chance.
Yeah, purchased for $110,000 by Hassanay out of a Desert King mare in Marinda. 7 starts for 3 wins, 2 seconds. It's had 3 starts over the 1400 for 2 wins. So, you know, it's got ticks a lot of boxes.
Ticks a lot of boxes, and is one of my main chances, I think.
Okay, now down to the business end of what we're here for. Your top 3 for both classics.
Yeah, Jess. In the Magic Millions 2-year-old, I came up with Drafontaine. I think she's going to put herself straight in the race. She doesn't have to lead. She can sit behind the speed if they go fast. I think she'll have too much kick at the end for them. From Amarino, brother Jim, would love to see him win it, but I've got to put him in for 2nd, and Sizzling for 3rd.
And for the 3-year-old classic?
Well, I like Sufasa. He's racing in great form. David Pfeiffer, he's had a winner on this day for the last 2-3 years. Certainly knows how to get him ready for this day. From Happy Hussy and Subrit.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's Larry's top 3 for both the 3-year-old classics. I tend to disagree. I'm going to go the big plonk and crunch Happy Hussy. I think it'll be very hard to beat. I like the 1400. Well, Larry, thanks for joining us on the show, and look forward to joining us next week.
Thanks, Jess.
Sponsors the Brisbane Racing Club, Eagle Farm and Doomben 48 times a year. It's a carnival every Saturday.
Welcome back. Now we're just going to take a look at the Magic Millions Cup over 1400 and the Magic Millions Stayers Cup. Neil, what's the Centrebet favourite here for the Cup?
Well, Jess, I'll tell you what, punters, they won't want to put their glasses down after the 2 and 3 year old features because races 7 and 8 very, very strong. You mentioned the Magic Millions Cup, 1400 metres, catapulted. This great sprinter from the Kavanagh Yard up from Melbourne, won down the straight last start. It's come up around the $3.50 favourite on Centrebet. There's a big gap to the rest, but plenty of quality in the field. You get out to Ready to Rip. Probably should have won the Luffney last start.
Could be getting back and running home.
Yeah, it was agony for me. I had it at $11 and it jumped at $6 and should have won. But anyway, I don't want to cry into my beer just yet. But Ready to Rip at $7. My Destiny's been winning, put 4 together in a row, who won that race. $7 starts me up at $7, $8 Latin News. So some good sprinters getting up to 1400 metres out in the market. They've got to beat Catapulted. I think Catapulted for a fantastic 1200 metre record, 1100 metres, and a real group class horse, but never won over the 14. So maybe it'll drift in the market. I think you'll probably get around $4 on the day, and I'll be surprised if Ready to Rip stays at $7. Has won at the Gold Coast, and after 5 or 6 runs, with a little luck, it's got to be ready to win, surely.
Yeah, I think you're on the button there. It could go to a local horse. An open race, plenty of chances.
Yes.
Magic Millions Stayers Cup, 1800.
Yes, this is another interesting one. Probably, Jess, well, the betting says a match in 2. You've got Kentucky Park, was a massive win, of course, in the Burnborough over the mile at Dooman. Sat wide the whole trip, still got the chockies. It's $3.80, but behind MVOS at $3.20, the opening favourite. Now, MVOS is very, very consistent, and I think the factor here, Jess, is the weights. MVOS, of course, meeting Kentucky Park here at around about 5 kilos better from and drawn well. So MVOS at $3.20 is the elect at the moment. As you say, there's a massive gap to the rest. You've got to go out to play action at around about the $9. But this will be a great betting battle between the two. I'm, for want of flying the interstate flag again, Kentucky Park I've been a massive fan of for a long time. It's adaptable. It can go forward. It can sit at the back. And despite the big weight, Nash does the steering, and I think can still carry the weight and win. So I'm a Kentucky Park fan.
I've got to totally disagree with you.
Yeah, go on, get stuck in.
I'm an MVOS fan.
Okay.
I like Toby Edmonds here.
Yes.
If the money's come for it, Toby likes a punt and he knows how to get them right on the day.
Yep.
Just for a bit of fact, Toby used to train here at the Gold Coast before he moved to Warwick Farm. He knows what it takes to win a race here at the 1800 at the coast. So I'm backing a bit of local knowledge here and I'm sticking with MVOS.
Oh, he's a good horseman, Toby Edmonds, for sure. And the thing is, MVOS is drawn 1, so we'll get a lovely run. Kentucky Park's out in about 9 or 10, so Kentucky Park National will be looking for the trail of the right sort of horse and hopefully can hit the button at the right time. But I'll be taking you on, mate. There you go.
Righto, we can't always agree, that's
Not
for sure.
No.
Well, that brings us to an end of another episode of Racing in Queensland, and thanks for joining us, Neil.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Should be a great day. Of course, the sales are rocking along very nicely, and great day. And I'm looking forward to that because some great betting races, plenty of chances, good value for the punters, and should be another terrific Magic Millions day.
Well, I look forward to hopefully having you on the show again sometime soon.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Well, there you go. Thanks for another episode of Racing in Queensland. See you next week.